We'll start with the word of prayer. Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you so for your grace and mercy and for your loving kindness toward us. We read in your word, Father God, where you said that life is like a vapor. It is here and soon it disappears. So we ask, Lord, that you would allow us to just make the most of the days that you've given us, Lord God, and whatever we should put our hands to, help us to do it with all of our might. If we are here to serve, let us serve with compassion and a sense of commitment, Lord God. And we just thank you now for this day and for all that you're doing, and we invite your presence here this morning to rest, rule, and abide. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Good morning. This morning we will hear from our Sheriff, Derek Cunningham, Finance Director Cheryl Thomas, Chief Administrator for the DA's Office, Michael Burdell, Director of Elections, Alexandria Stevens, Assistant County Engineer Kevin Boone, our County Attorney Michael Armistead, Attorney Terry Reynolds with Levitate Legal, and Executive Director Kevin King from the King's Canvas. During the formal session, Commission will consider the 2023 Annual Report of Insolvents, Errors in Assessment, and Taxes and Litigation with the corresponding resolution for the Revenue Commissioner's Office, Budget Change Request Number 3 for the 2024 Buckmasters Expo, consider miscellaneous appropriations to agencies, consider miscellaneous appropriations to education, consider miscellaneous appropriations from designated revenue.
Agency, back up.
Yes, sir.
I want to do 1250 to CASA.
Is there anything else?
Can we go just back to education, please?
Certainly.
Yeah, thank you, Lana. 2,500 to Johnny Carr Middle School, principal discretion. And 2,500 to Carver Elementary for the performing arts. Thank you.
Anything else?
You're designated
We're about to.
2,500 for 100 black men.
Any other additions to designated?
Yes, Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown, what's the name? Heavy Hearts, 2,500 to Heavy Hearts.
Is there anything else?
Are we doing the joint?
Are you laughing at my?
Yes, and we did have a list. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Last week we had, at our last meeting, we had a representative from the Frank M. Johnson's project up at the federal courthouse. I think their request was like $25,000.
Yes.
Like to see us help them. We haven't helped them since '22.
Anybody have a question of that one? Florence, you add that one to it?
Yes, sir. $25,000 to the FMJ Institute.
Yes. The other two we had is Montgomery County Historical Society. They're requesting $25,000 for educational programs. We did, the last time we had significant was in 2019 for $24,000 as a budget change. Commissioner Harris did some in 2021, $2,500. Any recommendations on the Montgomery County Historical Society?
Did they provide the budgets some time ago? I'm not. Is anybody here with them?
Tammy, do y'all remember, Teresa, did they provide the budget as requested? Do y'all know? Seemed like they provided something, but I can't remember. Could you reach out to, Teresa, reach out to them, just see if they'll send us the budget for them? If you would, okay, thank you. Liberty Learning is the other one. We did 10,000 last year from the joint. We've done joint in 21 and 19, and then individuals did it, some in 22 and 23. Do we want to, they requested 16. Is there any opposition to doing 10 from the joint like we did last year?
I don't have a problem with that.
I'm fine with that.
No problem. Commissioner Sankey, you good with that?
Yeah, that's
You
good.
Okay. Florence, 10,000 to Liberty Learning from the joint.
Is there anything else?
Doug, we got a request from Family Guidance. Do we want to do this when I talk about it now? or-
Yeah, you talk about it, 'cause I'm not familiar with it, so. if you would-
Family Guidance, I got a request from, their chairman of their, fundraising, Brandon Diem, and a request for, 10,000 for an event that they're having, for Family Guidance. I think it was sent, he said it was sent to all of us, and he wanted to follow up.
I don't recall getting that one,
I don't
think
get
I
it
got
either.
that.
but I do.
I just think, did he talk to you about it, Commissioner Sankey, Brandon Diem?
Is that the sneakers ball?
Yeah, that's it.
No, he didn't speak to me about it.
Okay.
The executive director,
Did, okay,
yeah,
okay,
Miss
okay,
Miss Adams.
okay.
Were they part of the large ARPA funding?
Yeah.
The three?
Yeah.
I don't,
I can't remember.
I'm hesitant, but I don't think they were.
Do you remember that on the ARPA funding, was Family Guidance one of the,
Are they here? Family Guidance is here?
were they one of the three on the homelessness? that was-
There were several on homelessness, and they were one of the awardees on homelessness, one of the smaller awardees.
Yeah,
But I'm talking about the one we gave to Tay Knight's group.
she's
We
not
gave-
Family Guidance.
I know, but we gave three, and it was her group and two others.
He's right here. Here's the
Child
director.
Protect.
Right
It was Child
No, she
Protect,
said
one
Terry said no.
place. Okay, they were not
No,
part of that. Thank
no,
you. That's,
no.
Yeah, I've always attended the sneaker, but it's been different things, but, the Family Guidance, I've always bought a ticket personally.
Right.
I send them a check from my personal, but,
Mr. Chairman,
and, do we have a
Good
recommendation?
morning,
Let
how
me-
you doing?
who's that?
Doing well, thank you.
Somebody's on the radio.
Somebody talking? Oh. They talking at us?
it's just not muted. No, they're not talking.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Family Guidance provide a number of services, including mental health. And I was hoping as we continue to get, opioid addiction, substance abuse, I was hoping that as we continue to get those funds from the settlement, that maybe Family Guidance might be considered as a recipient of a portion of those funds.
Do you want to, act on today's request for 10,000 for the sneaker ball? Do I have a recommendation?
Well, we do have monies, as I understand, some additional settlement money for the opioid.
Okay.
And I think they qualify as an organization.
So you're suggesting when we wait it and hold off from the sneaker ball and give them a nice
And look at what we have, if the commission as a whole is in agreement.
Okay.
And see where we can go with that.
Okay.
All right, Florence, let's hold off for right now on that one.
So are you ready to move on?
What about, did we discuss the Johnson? Have we done that?
We did
already?
that one.
I thought-
So that's all.
Then we will consider travel training requests for appraisal, the county commission, detention facility, the sheriff's office, and the youth facility detention. Those are all the items. So, our sheriff. The first item he is going to present is a proposal and MOU to negotiate a new per diem rate for federal inmates.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good to see everybody out in the audience. So good. Yes, I think we had that conversation at the last meeting. We talked about being able to renegotiate our per diem that we get for our inmates. So this is the company that we used last time. They were pretty good, and we're just requesting that you all allow us to let them start the negotiations.
They got a pretty good record of meeting that
Yes,
their
sir.
goal, right?
Yes, sir.
And he's asking to waive rules in order to hopefully meet November 1 for a new effective date.
That's correct.
Any objection to waiving rules?
No objection here.
All right, next item.
That would be the housing juveniles at the Montgomery County Youth Facility for Otaga, Butler, Chilton, and Elmore counties.
Yeah, those are standard contracts that we do every year. Just need to get you all to authorize those.
That's not waiver rule, is it?
No.
No, sir.
I don't have a problem with that.
Any questions about that one, the housing juveniles? We've been doing that for a while, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a nice number too. We started out, we were way down from that number.
Yeah.
How many do we have from other counties? I know we got like about 31, 32 other total.
Yeah, but we normally average probably 5 to 6. Yeah, from other counties. Right now, we're kind of high because we got 9 that's out there for, murder. So those will be there until they have their hearings.
That's Otaga and Elmore.
No, I'm talking about Montgomery. Yeah, ours.
That'll be next agenda.
Thank you.
I was gonna, since I'm up here, I was gonna say, I know it's a early request, but I know the fair is right around the corner. I'm the past president, and I know Doug is the president now, and I just really want you all to think about, I know you all give assistance every year, but I know it's coming up again this year, and we do give back about $296,000 last year, and so whatever you all can do for us will go a long way ahead for us. So while y'all considering, could you consider the fair? And I'll get you a parking pass too, Isaiah.
I was just going to ask you about that.
I'm going to take care of your parking, because this year we put parking in the tickets cost, so, yeah.
Free parking.
I got you taken care of on that part.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Do you all have a budget, Sheriff Cunningham?
A budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you all do very, very well
Yeah.
with that. Okay.
Yes.
And you still need some additional help.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But we do. I appreciate you all, considering that and thinking about that. Thank y'all.
On another note, just, Derek, you were at the, I think you were at the press conference when Lowe's,
Yeah.
you want to talk to us about that? Just credit Lowe's.
Yeah, Lowe's did an outstanding job. We had our barn that burned down that had all of our tools and all of our forklifts and things of this nature. And we put a request out. Lowe's came through, probably close to $100,000 worth of tools, tool boxes, ladders, shovels. All of the Lowe's came together in the state, and brought a truckload of tools and accessories that were destroyed during that fire. So I can't say enough about Lowe's. Every time I go out there, I say thank y'all, because they really came to that call, and they really showed out for the Alabama National Fair. So Lowe's has really got hats off in my book. I love them.
Yeah. We lost $650,000
Yeah.
worth of equipment, buildings, tractors, everything was in there. About 90% of all the equipment that you see at the fair. Insurance is still being negotiated, but
Yeah.
it's probably only going to be around 250,000 at the most. So we were about 450,000 short.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention, when you start looking at the forklifts, those ATVs, and then plus we had an antique truck out there that you see always at the entrance of the fair. All that stuff was totally destroyed. So rebuilding is going to be hard. It's going to be an up-road journey, but the community is really coming to assist. This morning, we got a donation coming in for a backhoe and a truck that was lost. So the community is really stepping forth and helping the fair out to get our equipment back up so that we'll be ready to have this fair. So my hat's off to us right here in our community. They're not going to let us struggle. They've always been there for us.
Yeah, Edwards Plumbing is giving the truck and all, and Rick Pate stepped up and helped us. I know Coca-Cola doubled their amount they normally give us. And the state of Alabama has really stepped up to help us, so
And
just replace everything.
Yeah, just to replace and get us back up and running so that we can provide this resource, which helps out our local charities. It goes back into the river region. That money that they take, that we take in, goes right back out. So without the community support and without you all support, the fair wouldn't be a fair. So I'd just say thank y'all in advance.
Like you said, Sheriff Cunningham gave $296,000 back to the community last year. I got to give $297,000 somehow, so just one more dollar. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Finance Director Cheryl Thomas.
Good morning. I'm here to ask, we're the Finance Department, and if you think I was just recently here for the same position, I was about 6 months ago, but we had hired someone at a higher step. Well, she was on a job list at the city at a higher paying, so she took that job. So I'm back, and I apologize for asking to waive rules, but we really need this position in finance as soon as we can get it. But I'm asking to start them at a step 4 as opposed to a step 1. The cost is $3,800, and it's in the budget. I can cover it in the budget. And so I'm asking to waive rules to approve that.
Any objection to waiving rules?
No objection here.
No objection.
Thanks.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Michael Burdell from the DA's office.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Apologize for asking for a waived rule item. The deadline for the application for the Byrne grant is Friday. We followed Administrator Cauthen's advice and got our own EIN that would have allowed us to apply for grants on our own, except this pool of money, according to ADECA, is awarded by ADECA in Alabama instead of up in D.C., and they're requiring that we apply through a unit of local government. We're seeking your permission or your approval of a $150,000 application for technology. There's no required match.
Michael, this obviously something just came to you pretty recently.
No. We knew about it maybe about a month ago as we were dealing with an audit from the Examiners of Public Account, but we thought at that time that having our own EIN from the IRS was going to be sufficient for us to not have to bother you.
We didn't get the last grant from ADECA, so maybe they'll give us this one.
Knock on wood, for sure.
Any objection to waiving rules?
No objection here.
Thank you, Michael.
And I could not leave without letting you guys know that Commissioners Walker and Moore Ziegler, you're looking especially beautiful and radiant tonight. Commissioners Harris, Sankey, and Singleton, debonair as always, and thank you so much. I'm lobbying for next time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Alexandria from the Election Center.
Good morning. Good morning. So I have 2 requests to move 2 polling places, one in District 2 and one in District 4. We did receive some complaints about the polling place in District 2. So I got a request to have that polling place moved. And also District 4, I think the Chisholm Community Center is undergoing renovation. So they won't be available for the upcoming general election. So I'm asking that you all waive the rules to approve this request.
Any questions for JC? You gonna tell us how beautiful we are today, or?
No, I think Mr. Burdell is taking care of that.
What was the problem? It's too dark? No, like lighting or?
Is waive rule?
Yes.
I don't have any objection.
Yeah. Because y'all in a time zone, that time.
Well,
tight.
yes, it had to
Yeah.
be approved to go into effect, but, you know, like we said, for Chisholm, it's gonna be offline, so we need to go ahead and make the change, and there were a number of constituent concerns regarding the Macedonia Miracle Kingdom location, and so.
Is there any objection to waiving rules?
No, thank you all so much for the work you do. You've done a great job trying to find these places for the relocation, and I think I have a better place in Precinct 4 than we previously had. Yeah.
I think so too.
It's not easy.
No offense to anyone.
Thank you.
It's not easy finding places.
No,
It's not, it's really not.
We thank you for it. I don't think the people understand it is not easy to find a place for people to have homes. So thank you so much for what you do. Allison.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Kevin Boone from Engineering.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin.
This morning, we submit for your consideration the 2025 Annual Transportation Plan. This is funding provided by the Rebuild Alabama Act. This is a normal paperwork that we have to submit yearly to utilize this funding.
Any questions for Kevin? Rebuild Alabama.
And next, we also ask you to consider the resolution for the resurfacing of Wallahatchie Road. This project will resurface 4.6 miles in Montgomery County, and it should begin spring of next year.
Any questions for Kevin on that one? Sure wish we had that outer loop. It'd take a little pressure
I
off
wish you
Wallahatchie
could get them to
Road.
come. I wish you could get them to come to my neighborhood and do some resurfacing.
Working on it. Also ask you to keep the Speak family in your thoughts
Yeah,
and prayers.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
George lost his wife this past week, and all be mindful of him and his family.
I don't know if y'all heard that, but George Speak's wife died, passed away Monday morning, or was it Monday?
Friday.
Friday? Okay. So that's why George is not here today. The memorial service is next Saturday, I think 10 or 11. So keep George and the rest of his family in your prayers.
All right.
So
Thank
that'll
you.
be next agenda. Thanks, Kevin.
Next, we'll hear from Michael Armistead. He's got several items to present.
Good morning. The first is a resolution that approves the purchase of property located on Woodley Road. It approves that, and it also gives the chairman the authority to sign those closing documents.
Any questions on that? Commissioners, is that, when you come off Woodley Road, is that the first red light? It's right on the left there, when you come out of that Elms Meads neighborhood, you're looking straight at it, right?
Yeah.
That's where it is, Kendall?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was out there the other night, I thought that's where it was. It's an empty lot right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? That'll be next agenda.
The next one is an amendment to the agreement that extends the contract with the coroner for Montgomery County.
Yeah, Dr. Jones has done a great job, and this extends his contract. Has anybody got any questions about that? That'll be next agenda.
And my final item is a contract with Human Resources Management, Inc. This is for the continued implementation of the county's Human Resources Department.
Just a couple questions on that one. Ultimately, how long do we anticipate having them around?
The term of this contract is 12 months, so we don't know if it's going to take that long, but it's also a 30-day out clause from either party.
They had discussed 6 to 12 months.
But it could take longer, right?
Then 12 months?
Yeah.
We don't expect it to.
In 12 months, the goal is to have our own in-house personnel in place and trained
Yes.
and ready to go, and them out for
Yes, yes.
that because okay.
Mr. Armstead, do we have a ballpark figure? You know, I've heard what you said, it may last up to 12 months, but is there like, based upon that and looking at the various specialties involved in their hourly rate, do you have like a round figure that we might spend if indeed it lasts for 12 months?
I do not have an estimate on that. That's going to be,
189,000, is that what it is?
That's what's in the budget now for 2 positions, and so that money would be available to be applied toward their services. And in addition, I believe there's some money in the budget for some contract services to cover that. So in the budget for next year, there is what we believe will be ample funding.
What do you think? Just piggybacking on Isaiah's question, what's that figure ballpark, you think? Think it's gonna be a bit more than that. 200,000 plus the 189? 300, roughly 400,000?
Depends on how quick.
Because they're getting paid well. I don't know if we're gonna be able to hire people at that rate.
No, I mean, no, what we have in the budget for positions is different than,
I see. Well, we're on our way.
Any other questions? That'll be next agenda.
Terry Reynolds is here from Levitate to answer any questions you have about the resolutions.
Good morning. The next 3 resolutions are on the agenda are related to the commissioner's individual ARPA allocations and makes adjustments to previously authorized expenditures from each commissioner's individual funds, specifically Chairman Singleton's, Commissioner Sankey's, and Commissioner Ziegler's.
Any questions on those? Of the 3?
No, I don't have a question on those, Mr. Chairman, but Ms. Reynolds, you know, the monitoring, I think you mentioned monitoring when you gave us the exit interview, I suppose, for lack of a better word, and you said that we, you know, were responsible for monitoring. I know that the United States Department of Treasury requires some monitor for these various programs. I have some that, you know, the ones that I'm hoping to get, you know, passed and finally have a contract on will require some oversight, you know, over the life of the contract or the agreement. Do you have any? And I had spoken with the administrator and the attorney about monitoring, and so I'm just wondering, what's your thought on monitoring? I had thought maybe that for the particular programs that I'm trying to get to the execution phase, that maybe I could bring in my own monitor to look at those programs. Can you give us a little overview about monitoring and how you think that ought to work?
So that's an excellent question, and we've talked with administrative staff about an RFP for monitoring for the comprehensive ARPA expenditures. If you wanted to bring in your own monitor, I think that would be allowable. We just need to talk about the details, but particularly if you would be using your $1 million allocation, I do think we could make that work. The key points of the monitoring are understanding, particularly with your subrecipients, what the feds require, because subrecipients have to meet essentially the same requirements that local governments have to meet. And so making sure that they are following those guidelines. For most of these contracts, we have quarterly monitoring. Some where there was a little bit of a higher risk, there's monthly monitoring. And so each recipient, beneficiary or subrecipient, has to submit all of their invoices for that the previous quarter and their expenditures, and it has to be reviewed against the budget that they provided you, and that's attached to the contracts. And so that would essentially be the primary responsibility of the monitor, is to make sure that the recipients are spending the money in the way that they told you they are, that they're complying with federal regulations regarding procurement where that's required, and that they're keeping track of all of that because the feds require you to keep those records for 5 years or so. So that's the high-level overview of what the monitor needs to do. I think we've provided just some examples of a monitoring RFP to Administrator Cauthen and to Attorney Armstead. And so I'm happy to share those with you if that would help, and happy to have an offline conversation to kind of help you work through what that may look like.
Thank you.
Any other questions? That'll be next agenda then.
Next, we'll hear from Executive Director Kevin King with the King's Canvas.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, for the past 6 years, I've spoken to you and others about the positive impact that the arts has had in our community and economy through a strategy that we call creative placemaking. But thankfully and finally, we've been able to partner with an organization that puts on these big conferences called Creative Placemaking Communities. I was able to be a part of this conference this past March in Atlanta, where we had over 500 attendees in Atlanta, and I helped curate the process. But I also was a part of the conference back in New Jersey and Chapel Hill, North Carolina, within the previous years. And so our plan is to have over 400 attendees. Since our city is smaller, we had over 500 in Atlanta, but over 400 attendees in Montgomery at the beginning of April. And it'll be a community-facing conference where we'll do our main plenaries at the Davis Theater, and we're using other breakout session space between the Rosa Parks Museum and the Crest Building, so it can be more of a community-facing conference. And these are people who are coming from out of town, a lot of people who are coming from out of town that'll be staying in our hotels, eating at local restaurants, using local Uber services, and just being inside of the community. Even though they'll be staying in the hotels, our goal was not to lock them inside of the hotels and not allow them to see what's going on within our city and frequenting our downtown area and other areas. And so the conference is around $200,000, but my role as a partner with Creative Placemaking Communities is to raise about 10% of that. But out of that 10%, which is what, 20,000, I'm asking the county to help us out with about 10,000 so we can actually announce that the conference is happening by the end of this month. We have some people that we have on the payroll that we need to start get going to do a lot of our planning to help bring this conference here. And so outside of that, in your inboxes, you should have received more detailed information concerning this conference and the impact we believe that it'll have in our city. Any questions?
So are you saying it won't happen without our support?
Oh, it won't happen without your support, Commissioner Sankey. You know that. Y'all have been very supportive of me.
You've done some great work.
Thank you.
Outside of town.
The city helping?
Thank you.
Kevin?
The city?
Yeah.
Yeah, they will. The city, they allocate funds to us a lot, dealing with some of the initiatives that we have. But yeah, through our city council, they will be contributing. Right now, we have Judge Blunt on board, of course, Lori Will, who's the president of the board, president of Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts, and also Lisa Will, who's also a board member of the State Arts Council. They're on board. Our State Arts Council is on board with it, and we've raised outside funding from the Levitt Foundation, South Arts, as well as Education Foundation of America, which is a personal donor of the King's Canvas, as well as Creative Placemaking Communities. And the rest of the sales will be generated through ticket sales for the conference. But, as a partner, just my small portion is the $20,000 that I have to raise. So, and we have other local individuals who have signed up to contribute as well.
Kevin, I read over the information that you emailed to us, and what really stood out to me is, and you stated it this morning, this conference has been held in New Jersey, in North Carolina, and Georgia, and because of your affiliation with this conference, now it's coming to Montgomery, Alabama. That's a big deal. So thank you very much for what you do locally, what you've done for years.
Yes, ma'am.
But I would encourage my colleagues on the commission for a big conference like this for all these people that may have never been to Montgomery before to come and experience it. I would encourage my colleagues to go ahead and let's commit to helping Kevin with the funding that he's requested today.
Any questions or concerns about doing the 10,000 to King's Canvas?
Out of joint.
Out of joint?
Yes.
I don't have any questions. Kevin knows.
Florence, you
100%
add that one,
everything, so.
please. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Okay, bud.
All right.
Is that all you got, Florence?
I think that's all.
Derek, will you bring that list from the back? Let's see if we can't get some of them. If you signed up in the back to speak at 10, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do it now when I call your name. If you prefer to wait to 10 o'clock, we will wait to 10 o'clock for yours, but if you want to go ahead and get it done a little early. Thank you, sir. Ms. Brown, Heavy Hearts, you want to do it now?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Got standing here with me, Miss Layla. It's my niece. But anyways, yesterday was an amazing event. We had the City Boys Festival, our second annual one in the community at Gateway Park, and we had an amazing turnout. People came early, left early, thank goodness, because it was extremely hot. But we had tournaments and we talked about mental health very briefly. But the main target yesterday was gun safety. And we had every participant, everyone that registered for Christmas or anything had to participate in a gun safety lesson where they learned the 4 points on gun safety. And we had a lot of kids come out that participated in that, and I'm very grateful and thankful for that. Moving on, I thank Mr. Sankey for coming out, came out a little bit later, a little bit after, but he came, and I appreciate you for that. Moving on to the next thing that we have going on is our Christmas. Very early, so nobody can say they haven't heard about it. We have Christmas at East Del Mall every year, and it is really, really big. We help over 1,000 families. Last year, we did 1,500 families for Christmas. And we do a food drive, a toy drive, a bike drive, a blood drive, and somebody drives away with a car. And we partner with the radio stations, 97.1, the Big KD, American Red Cross, Clay Seafood, Clay Auto Sales, Fathers Helping Fathers, Senator Tuberville, Councilor Riley, Councilman Andrew Szymanski, Councilor Julie Beard, and a host of other people that partner with us for this event. It is really, really big, and we're hoping that you guys participate in helping us out as well. We, again, I said our target is to help 1,000 families, but we want to extend past that, just like we did last year when we was able to help 1,500 families. We start off with, we needed 50,000. We exceeded that really good, and we ended up with over $100,000, and that's going to be our target again for this year, so we can be able to help that many families. We have 3 18-wheeler trucks worth of food that comes out, and that's 24 pallets on each truck to be able to give food for Christmas and so on. I mean, we have the mall, we have the whole Dillard store completely filled with toys and gifts and stuff for families. So it is a lot, and I think you was that Mr. was on the other side of us last year too, to be able to see the different stuff that we have and that we give away. So it's a big deal. So we are coming and asking you guys again for finances to help us out to be able to make Christmas happen for a lot of families in the community.
Ms. Brown, we appreciate what you do, and I think the more we begin to learn about you and understand you, the more we can appreciate what you do. So just keep doing what you do, and I'm sure this commission will become more familiar, and hopefully we can join you in some of those initiatives.
Thank you. Any questions?
When you start school, where you go to school?
Where you go to school, tell them.
Where?
I go to Edie Nixon.
When y'all start tomorrow, don't you?
Thursday. Is
Oh,
it
Thursday.
Thursday, isn't it?
Thursday. Oh, wow, you excited? What grade you gonna be in?
Fourth.
You make good grades? I bet you do. Well, thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much.
Dwayne Rembert and Charles Lee. Tammy, I emailed you a video. I forgot to email it earlier today. I just sent it to you. I don't know if it's too late to show that. Probably is, ain't it?
Watch a video.
If not, I'll share with the commissioners. I'll just do that. I'm bearing gifts.
Oh, what size are they? You got any large? You can start talking. He's gone. We're gonna chat
Okay,
about
we
t-shirts.
wanted the video to play first.
Oh.
Yeah, and Tammy, I sent that. We can't play that now, can we? I forgot to send it. I emailed it to you, the video.
Oh, you don't have any? That's okay. Yeah. You pick your color.
And that was my fault, Dwayne. I
all
got
right.
it this morning, but I
That's all
forgot
right.
to give it to Tammy. Oh, you could have used my phone. I didn't know you could do that, so. Big dog.
All he had was extra large.
Yo, that's Lego.
That's ambitious.
Dan, you're double X like I am, ain't you?
That's what I need.
I need double X too. But I think I can squeeze.
Well, squeeze in it and wear it at night. Squeeze in and wear it to bed.
My belly may be hanging out.
You might get an extra treat from y'all wife and y'all
Yeah.
squeeze in it.
Well, at least it'd be good for us to all take a picture with it together.
Well, Dwayne, go ahead and start talking. You want to wait till the video, the best way till the video starts? We got a little time, so we're not in any. But tell us a little bit about what you're doing over in the north side of Montgomery.
Okay, my name is Dwayne Remmer. I am the senior pastor at Flatline Church at Chisholm, and I'm also the founder of Flatline Movement. And with Flatline Movement is it's a music collective. We have 10 artists, and we go around. Matter of fact, when we leave here today, we'll be at Percy Julian at 11:30. We do concerts and mentoring and outreaches, anything that we can do to engage the culture with the gospel. I mean, I'm a pastor. And we're at Flatline. We're on the north side of Montgomery at Chisholm, Flatline Church at Chisholm. Within a 1 mile radius of our church, we have 11,594 people with average household income ranging from $11,000 to $17,000 a year. So poverty breeds crime. So we try to address that by meeting that need and try to give hope and opportunity. We want to give them the hope of the gospel, but you also got to create opportunity for people to grow as well, so especially young people, because that was my life. I was out there in the streets and the gangs, and I just didn't know until I got a mentor and heard the gospel, and God changed my life. So we try to go back and reach those that was from the same type of community that I grew up in, so, yeah.
And this particular program that y'all got now, Charles, he explained it to me one day, and honestly, I didn't really get it. Of course, I'm
Yeah.
a 63-year-old white dude.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be getting it probably.
Well.
But it's something that the more I have watched and tried to grasp it and all, it kind of makes a lot of sense. So.
Yeah, well, you got to think about it. Montgomery is over 60% African American, especially with the young people. The culture that's dominating our city, and a lot of the cities are the murderous rap culture. I mean, I was a part of that. I did stuff by just getting amped up off that music, and it's worse now than it was when I was out there. So we have to engage that culture first, because a lot of most of the killings that are going on right now in Montgomery stem from rap beef. So if you don't address that issue, you're just putting a Band-Aid on the problem.
When you say rap beef, what is that?
Okay, so that means different crews who express what they've done to somebody else through their music. So if I shoot your cousin, I turn around and make a song about that I shot your cousin, but teach it. I'll say it in a code, in a way where y'all probably wouldn't get it, but the people on the other end heard that. So then I come shoot up your cousin, then I come shoot up your cousin. And it's just been going on like that for years, you know. So there's more than one type of rap, though, you know. So, and rap is so powerful, we just have to, it's not the music and the beats that's evil, it's the message that come through it. So what we tend to do with this program right here is use one of the, pretty much the king of the South in for his rap. Now, he used to rap about killing and stuff like that too, but he's getting older now. His name is Boosie. His son is going through some stuff, so now he's on the tip now where he's telling them to put the guns down. So by even bringing Boosie into the picture, it's going to bring out a lot of people. That you hear people say, everybody know Boosie. If you're in the South, you know who Boosie is. Yeah. So, but not, we want to bring him out and have him at this event that we want to have, because we want it to be hope and opportunity. So we want him to go last, but on the way to him, we want to have other artists that has a gospel message or a positive message leading up to that. And they won't leave because they want to see Boosie at the end, you know. And not only that, want to partner with other, some of our partners already, like Montgomery Law Volunteer Services, Trentham State, like have them set up booth. You know, so some of these people, some of these guys and some of these people, they feel hopeless. I mean, I did the most crime. I ain't gonna incriminate myself, but I did the most crime in my life from 19 to about 21 and a half, because when I graduated high school, nobody had talked to me about ASVAB, ACT, so I didn't know how to articulate that then, but I felt hopeless. So I really didn't care anymore. I was what they call today crashing out. You know, so, and they have a whole genre right now that y'all don't know about, but it's called crash out music. So they listen at the music and they know if I go do this, I might die, but I don't even care. You know, and that's the hottest music out right now. So if we don't engage that, it's just gonna be a vicious cycle here in this city. We're just gonna keep putting Band-Aids on the wound. So,
you mentioned the video. Tell us about the video.
Well, these are local artists here in Montgomery right now. You know, and in their video, it's plagued with guns and violence and drugs and murder. So if you go to any high school here in Montgomery, they know who these guys are. But if you watch the video, it's about glorified guns and murder. Like, life don't even matter anymore. So we have to address that. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, I don't know if they're gonna be able to get the video to play, but if you see the video, it's literally, most of the videos is about 100 guys and they all got machine rifles here in Montgomery. I mean, Army guns or whatever. And towards the end of the video, it's about 4 or 5 of the murders that just happened in July. And they were all rappers in the same kind of beef. And so Montgomery, we don't really have a gang problem, where it's organized gangs, where it's Crips and Bloods. We have rap crews on different sides of towns, and they beef through the rap music. And so that's what we're trying to do. This challenge saves lives. It's gonna be a challenge to really challenge all of these guys to definitely do what they love, which is rap, but rap about stopping the violence, and doing the podcast and bringing these guys all together to talk about, if you had one thing to stop the violence in Montgomery, what would you do? So we can hear ideas from these guys. As you will see from the video, they are all around violence because they are all around machine guns daily, and they glorify, just like you said. To them, I know y'all think like, what are you getting out of that by dying? But these guys, it's just like going to the war and being like a veteran or whatever. It's like getting shot or going to jail is like an honor, a badge of honor. And so being able to kind of change their perception is to be able to give them a different option. And that's what we're trying to do, give them a different option through what they love, which is rap music.
Show the video then.
Okay.
We took the sound out because you don't, the words is not appropriate.
It's kind of small.
Tell us about the Montgomery Verse Challenge.
Yeah, so like you said, we partnered with somebody that they really respect, which is Lil Boosie. And Boosie is a guy that went to jail but for murder and things like that or whatever, and he is a big-time rapper or whatever, so a lot of people really respect him. in the community. And so we're using him to be able to draw these other guys. Because when we come and just say, hey, stop the violence, they're like, psh, we don't want to hear that. But if one of their peers that they hear, and if they could see a guy that reached the top pinnacle and he's saying, hey, let's put these guns down, then that'll influence them to put the guns down. We've also worked with a lot of local celebrities like the Dirty Boys, Rubber Band, just a lot of local celebrities of getting them to also say, hey, y'all, let's put these guns down in Montgomery. Guys that built their career talking about, let's shoot them up, let's do this, and now they're all kind of talking about, hey, the murders are getting a little too out of hand, because no matter what killer that you find, you can get the worst killer in the world, and one of those guys, if you get them by themselves, they still don't want to see their best friend die, or they don't want to see their brother die, or they don't want to see their mother or their young nephew get hit by a straight bullet. And so we're just trying to make sure that we get this challenge. The challenge is already kind of going on. We've already kind of reached about 16 guys that make it to the next round. But these are all local people that wants to be in the rap industry, and they glorify guys that has guns, that has girls, because a lot of them don't have role models. They don't. You go to the school and they're not saying my role model is Martin Luther King or my dad, because those guys they don't see. But when they go on their phones, they see Lil Boosie, or they see these guys that got everything they want, whether it's girls, guns, drugs, money. And so we're trying to give them a different outlook of saying, you know what, be a part of this crew, which is trying to do something positive or whatever. And so.
George, y'all's ask is $25,000. Tell us what that money's going to be used for.
So I guess some of y'all are kind of broken down budget or whatever, but it's pretty much to pay a lot of these guys. So a lot of these guys that's making big time money about talking about let's kill. Well, in order to kind of get them on our team to influence the other guys, we have to kind of get them involved by paying them what they love to do, which is rap, which is kind of sad, but we want to get them involved in the conversation, because they already getting hundreds of thousands of views on like social media and things like that. So we want to make sure that they're able to kind of come and join this conversation and lead these guys and saying, hey, let's put down these guns. And then paying for different things like shirts, and then to put on the thing at the end, because we're going to do a big concert, which is going to be a lot of people just talking about stopping the violence and things like that, and being able to have a venue, have a safe venue with offices and things like that to make sure that we can have a safe venue to be able to talk about stopping the violence.
So you're taking the clips from the video. Each crew will have a little part of the video, and they're going to make a big video, I guess.
That's correct. We're going to make a huge video with each different crew kind of talking about stopping the violence. All the crew that's been talking about the violence and things like that, they'll kind of be involved in talking about stopping the violence. Not only will it just be a big video, but it'll also be a podcast series where we'll all sit all of them down and we'll talk about what their losses are, because a lot of the guys, like you said, it's stemming from you shot my cousin, now I'm shooting your cousin. They're kind of going back and forth. So being able to talk about that on the podcast, and then giving them opportunity at the end to say, hey, if you could do one thing to stop the violence in Montgomery, what would you do? And so,
George, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I want the commission to have questions. I'm sure they have some questions. Yeah. Anybody have a question for them?
Just a comment, and certainly we appreciate the perspective that you all bring to community violence, and you all seem to speak with some authority in terms of how to approach it. But you know, the ARPA money, I think we had over $2 million of ARPA money going to Live Free. And you all seem to have a perspective on how to address this process. So I'm just wondering if you all have made any attempt to speak with the city, Montgomery, the leadership there, in terms of maybe taking some of that money that we've put toward community violence intervention and implement the program that you all are presenting today.
So we have, I spoke to Aronde about it. I spoke to, some people with the city, and they love it, but I don't know nothing about what the ARPA fund money and all that stuff or whatever. And so, but if you guys get, I don't know if it's a conversation that you guys, can kind of have to make it better, because we could start it and kind of see how it go. I'm sure it'll be a huge success because it's already becoming to be a success. But as far as speaking to the city leadership, I haven't done it as far as the overall leadership, but I spoke to Aronde though.
So this is a program y'all partnered together, and y'all both to put your resources into, and you just need some help.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
And y'all need help now, because this thing's going on. When do you foresee the finale being?
Labor Day.
Labor Day, so we got to get going.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? I know Commissioner Walker, I think she's talked with y'all. I know y'all met individually with Commissioner Vice Chairman Sankey.
Yeah.
I'd like to provide them with some funding to help them out, and I'm willing to do it out of my own. they're asking, the total project is about 25,000 to cover the banquet, the video, production of the video, and shirts and all the other stuff, Bootsy and everything else. Any other commissioners want to help with that 25? I can't do all 25.
Like I
but-
said, just something I was doing. We have to try everything.
Yes, sir.
We're trying everything else. And this sounds promising. It really does. You guys have it inside. You're talking to the people that are actually involved in this stuff. Look like that connection there. And we're trying everything. That's what we're towards, boots on the ground. We trying everything. We need to be doing something. I don't have, Doug, I do it for my individual, but I'm tapped. But I'd like to see us do something out of joint.
What do you suggest out of joint? I agree with you. What do you suggest out of joint?
I mean, it's nothing to me. I give them the whole 25.
Any objections to doing that?
So how long will this last, Charles?
So to be honest, it's really just the beginning. We'll partner with Hands on River Region as well. It's just not a rap challenge. That's the biggest part, and that's the unsexy part. But the sexier part is we'll partner with Hands on River Region to be able to do something for everybody that want to get involved. There's a lot of people that say, man, I want to get involved. I just don't know where. I see 4 or 5 organizations going on. They're not on my side of town. But it's hundreds of organizations. So we want this to kind of be the first step, but we're going to continue going on by pushing and challenging everybody. When somebody say, hey, you see the crime in Montgomery? Hey, I challenge you to get involved, whether you use the homeless issue and letting them know all of the areas in Montgomery where you can get your hands to work, whether it's homeless, whether it's violence, whether it's youth mentoring. We want to make sure that we broadcast every organization here in Montgomery so everybody can be challenged. Everybody that see an issue that say, man, have you seen the crime or have you seen this? Hey, have you gotten involved? There's 50 organizations that's working against crime. You need to get involved, or the homeless or whatever. And so this is the beginning, and we want to do this to kind of cut crime right now and get these young guys that's glorifying these guns and this music to be able to kind of stop right now. But it'll be an ongoing process, to answer your question.
This include housing, because housing has a direct correlation to violence, particularly blight, the abandonment. So all of that is incorporated into your vision.
That's correct, because Hands on River Region, they have a host of organizations that work with housing and wraparound services. And so if that's the issue of saying, hey, I need housing, we want to point them to the organization that's already specializing in doing that. Or if they see it as an issue of saying, hey, we don't have enough housing, well, hey, maybe you can get involved, whether it's building houses, whether it's donating to building houses, or those things, because until we all put our hands together, like we can do a little bit, but if everybody did a little bit, then we don't have to do a lot, right? If everybody had their hands working, then none of us had to do a whole lot. But right now, we have to do a whole lot because it ain't, so.
Yeah, Vice Chairman, you're spot on the housing. I know these guys have shared years ago with me visions for housing for some of these kids that don't want to go back home after school. And,
Yeah, that's our long-term plan. You know our conversation, so.
They do have good vision. So any objection to doing 25 out of joint?
I don't have any objection. Appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate you.
All right, we're going to recess.
And that will go to where? What's the
Where they
organization?
go to, which,
That's my child.
that's my child. Okay. And y'all work together on that? Okay. 9:59, we've got about, let's say, 10:04. I need 5 minutes. 10:04, we're going to start.
Can we get a picture?